Hey guys, welcome back. This is Mark with NCEngravers, and today we're going to be working on the Canik SFX TP9 model slide. Now, this is one of those models that's been out for quite some time, and quite honestly, it's very challenging to do anything on this model, mostly because of some of the features that come from Canik. The top ridge that's on here, it's got a really deep cut that's already on the top of that, and then of course we've got these 4 ports on each side of the corners of the slide. So those features themselves obviously cause issues when we're talking about modifying, enhancing, changing, and customization. So with that being said, even to this day, I think there's very few people that offer many services on the SFX, mostly due to those 2 features. So over the last year and a half, we've had a lot of people reach out to us and say, hey, I know you're growing as a business in the Canik world, right? So you're starting to offer more services on the Canik, but we're still not really seeing that love on the TP9 SFX. And do you think it's ever going to be possible? Can it ever be done, right? So we had decided to take that challenge and see if there was something that we could create to better enhance, customize this factory slide. Very interesting, long slide, optic ready. You know, I can see why people do like them. Unfortunately, you're very much stuck in what it looks like when you purchased it because of those features. So hopefully we're going to overcome that. One of the things that we're going to be doing is taking this top ridge completely off the slide and doing a knurling on the top of the slide. Now, you guys have certainly seen that before on a lot of our other builds. It's a reflective, anti-glare type of a finish because it's textured. You do get some felt texture on the top of that. Obviously, it's a big change over the factory look. Just based off the way it looks, the way it feels, it is overall a nice customizational piece that you can do. So that is one of the reasons that we're doing that. We don't want to change the overall style of the SFX. We are trying to get away from what it looks like from the factory and into the actual custom style, right? So that's one of the things that we're going to be doing. The other thing we're going to be doing here is we're going to be bridging the top of these cuts. So these cuts themselves, and maybe you can see it better in here, they are tapered. They come down. They, you know, when you look at it from this side, you kind of look and say, oh, there's just some ports. But then you flip it over and you look and you see, well, it actually comes into the top. It comes down to the side. You know, it's a little deceptive from the external view of the slide. But when you start looking at it from the inside, you start going, wow, these cuts really kind of blend that corner between the side and the top. And I can see where they're a problem. What we're going to be doing is cutting across. So from left to right, we're going to do a pattern, which is going to be called our Sickle Cut. And the idea is that it's going to go from left to right. We're going to bridge that gap between those 2 ports. We're going to leave some meat between the 2. As you can see here, this is how much is between the ports now. Of course, we want to leave a significant amount on the top as well, just for structural support, rigidity overall. So it kind of comes out being one of those deals that we are going to do a cut across the top, but we want to keep as much material as we can. And of course, we want it to look the best that we can make it look with what we're working with. We're also going to be running a Cobra nose on here, so we're going to do a C-style Cobra nose at the end. You have seen that kind of come to the forefront on a lot more of our Canik slides. A lot of them just come down to what does the nose of these look like. You know, if you kind of take this part off the slide and you don't look at the ports, this gun as a whole is a very common. A lot of them have a little bit of a taper here, and then they branch out and they've got a little bit more of a nose, and then of course you get into the SFX and it's got a long flat nose. This is an opportunity to run a Cobra nose because this is a flat zone here, right? Versus it kind of stepping up and trying to run a nose there. So overall, obviously it's going to look really nice. We have done that before in the past. This is all going to get stripped down, of course. We're going to go into an NCE worn type of coating. We've got some barrel coatings going on here. One of the things I noticed, this is a Vortex Viper with a mounting plate that this is loose. You may be able to hear that a little bit. So we're going to take a look at that, see what's going on with that. I'm not sure if that's a common issue with these slides or something else. We also have the frame here, right? So slide barrel, we've also got the frame. We'll be stripping this frame completely down. We'll be doing an NCE worn on it as well. One of the things that you're not seeing on the webpage right now is that we do offer frame disassembly on the Canik frames, right? So of course you see that in the Glock world. We strip all those down, and then you can send frames into us for coatings, but if it's not a Glock, or a Glock variant, whether it's a dagger or whether it's something similar, we usually would recommend that you provide it completely stripped for us to mostly do that service work and not really the gunsmithing portion of that work, which would be the disassembly. That has changed with the Canik. We had decided that since we are offering more services on them and people do want things to match, of course, so we thought, why don't we start offering the disassembling on the Canik frame. So if you do happen to have a Canik, and you will see eventually this get posted on the webpage, and you'll be able to add that to the cart, you are able to send your Canik in fully assembled, and then we would do the disassembly for you, and we'll do the reassembly for you. There is going to be a charge on that just because there's time involved with taking it apart, cleaning, putting it back together, that kind of thing. But with that being said, you, as an owner, don't have to do anything. You can basically just send an entire pistol. Of course, you'll need the barrel and the spring, but you can send an entire pistol in, and then we'll do all of our work, and we'll send it back, and then, you're good to go as soon as you get it back. So that's a great opportunity for you guys. Guys, at this time, I think what we need to do is we need to get over to the CNC machine. Let's start with this top knurling. Let's move right on to these cuts, this nose cut, and then, of course, after we've completely done all the coloring and gotten it all put back together, we're going to bring it back. Let's take a look exactly how it came out. All right, guys, let's take a look and see exactly how this came out now that we have added some color. We got that barrel back from coating. We finished up all the cut work. We've got it back together. Overall, I am super pleased with the overall design of what is achievable on one of these SFX model slides. They're super challenging just because they have those edge ports, and to be quite honest with you, once you start taking out some of the top material and you look a little closer on how they're tapered down through here, it is a really, really nice design tying in new work with the factory cut work that's already in there. Super cool. Let's take a look at this just a little bit closer. We went ahead and added the top knurling on here. Of course, we did the cuts. We chamfered each of those edges. It'll be a little hard to see, so we'll include some pictures, but each one of these edges down through here does have a chamfer on it, so that way there's no sharp or pointy edges there. We went ahead and did a cobra nose. We chamfered these as well. Really nice. Once again, I really do really like how well it came out. I mean, honestly, it may be one of the nicest designs we have for the Caniks, even though it's one of the most challenging slides that's out there. This happens to be what you would call our NCE worn. So this was a burnt bronze with highlighted black tones. Overall, I really, really like it. This is a gold plated barrel. So what we do is we strip off the existing coating, we nickel it, then we gold it. Barrels are a high wear item. And no matter what kind of coating you end up putting on there, they're going to wear. So we do end up having 2 layers. So even if it does wear through the gold, you're down into the nickel before you get to the raw. Overall, I really, really like the way that it looks. We ended up doing the plate, the optic mounting plate, to match the slide all at the same time, right? Really, really neat. Guys, if you're not following us on our YouTube channel, we would recommend that you do so. A lot of this content is usually posted a little bit early on our Instagram, and then, of course, every time we post on Instagram, that content is also over on our Facebook account. So if you're on any one of those 3 and you're not following, or you haven't been following, but you do like the content, we would encourage you to follow those channels or like and subscribe if you happen to be on YouTube. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, feel free to leave them. If you have a direct question about something, maybe you'd like to see a change, maybe you have a weapon that we haven't worked on, or maybe there is a weapon we've worked on but you want to see a little bit of it altered or adjusted, we would recommend that you send us an email, just because sometimes that falls through the cracks when we're looking through all the comments and kind of sorting and sifting it out. We would recommend that you go to the webpage, you click on the contacts tab, you actually send us an email. We're going to request some pictures, you send us some pictures, and then we go from there. It may be something that's totally doable that we've never done before, but we really won't know until we start seeing those pictures and we start getting that idea out on paper, and can it be done or can't it be done, and what options do you actually have. Guys, if you need anything, just let us know. We've got some other projects that are kind of in the works. It's been a busy, crazy year already, even though we're just kind of still in February. So we've got a long ways to go throughout the year, but we've been crazy busy. So we're going to do our best to kind of get those videos out. Definitely when something unique comes out like this, you'll probably will see it on Instagram first. We've posted a couple of these slides before we did the video and explained it a little bit better. So once again, if you're looking for the newest content, I would highly suggest you go over to Instagram and follow along, because that's where it's going to turn up before we build a video. We're going to kind of get that feel out there of, do people want to understand it a little bit better? Do they want to see the work a little bit more before we build a video? So that's going to kind of be where that's going to be at. Guys, if you need anything, just happen to send us an email and let us know, and we'll do our best to answer those questions.